Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope all of you will be doing well with the grace of Allah and enjoying your online courses. The weather has also a bit improved as pre-monsoon rains have started. In the last previous lectures, we discussed bailment and pledge in its importance with the business organizations and business environment. Today we will discuss the contract of agency in business law in part 1, and how the contract of agency is important from business point of view and how it facilitates the owners or the managers or the multinational company, as the multinational company itself is a legal person, how the board of directors are agents of the company, the shareholders, and what is the relationship between the shareholders and the management, or what is the relationship between government and government officer who is agent of the government. All these things will be very much clear to you in this chapter, and a very basic document, a very basic contract which is very much applied in our daily life, in business transactions, in business organizations, even in non-business organizations. When we go through the concepts, you will fully understand how it operates in our daily lives. Meaning and definition of a contract of agency. A person may be doing the business activities himself or through another person. If we see in this sentence, it tells us that business activities can be performed by the owner himself, as a person who has a small shop and he's doing all the activities himself, dhaba, street, a retailer shop, or even a bit bigger shop in the city, but all the activities are looked after by him. He do all the things himself. And in another case, the person has hired a salesperson or a helper or a manager who manages instead of the person himself. Then it is another condition. In the first condition, the person manages the things, the business himself. In the second condition, he manages his own business through another person, and that another person is doing the things on behalf of the owner. The second person is not owner, he is just the manager, the administrator of the business or any other organization. A person who acts on behalf of another person is called agent. So it's very clear from the second sentence that another person is called agent, and the agent normally carries on activities on behalf of the first person. In what technically in legal term the first person is called? A person who authorizes another person to act on his behalf is called a principal. Now it's clear, the first person is called principal, who is owner, and who authorized another person to act on his behalf is an agent. So in this contract there arises some relationship between the first person and the second person. Technically in law, the first person is called principal and the second person is called agent. And as there are two parties and they have some consideration in between, that second person will act on behalf of the principal for some remuneration, commissions, or any financial or other benefit, while the first person will deliver his authority to the second person, that he himself cannot do all the things, uh, or there are some technical reasons that the second person should do the activities instead of him, and both have some consideration. The principal is not taking active part in the activities of the business, so he has a lot of time to carry on other activities, and the agent, as he is carrying on activities instead of the principal, can have handsome salary at the month end and other benefits, like in Shell, which is a multinational organization or corporation. The principal is the shareholders, while the management, the CEO, the board of directors and chairman, they are agents, and there is agency theory involved in all multinationals organizations. So the managers carry on their respective activities as CEO, chief executive officer and chairman of the board, and director finance, director marketing, director production, director HR, director IT, director research and development, on behalf of the principal, and the principals are the shareholders who are the owners, while the agent is not the owner, he is servant of the principal. So there creates an agency theory between the owner and the person who acts on behalf of the owner. You guys probably have understand, and this is the beauty, that how in multinational companies they have divided the ownership and the management, and the management is given to specialized people who are very much experts in their respective fields of marketing, finance, IT, research and development and other things, while the principal, as the owner, he is the capitalist. He has ideas, but he cannot do all the things himself. He is the brain. He plans and executes through agents. A contract which creates the relationship of principal and agent is called contract of agency, because it creates the agency. And why it is contract? Because there are some binding promises on both parts, on both parties, agents and principal. There is some written agreement, legal agreement between the two, to which both of them abides. And if there arise any issue between the principal and the agent, the issues are resolved back going to the written contract between them, or whatever the established rule of contract of agency in the constitutions are. Now, meaning and definition. Again, an agent is a person employed to do any act for another person or to represent him in dealing with third person. Almost the same concept is here, but a bit straightwards. The person from whom such act is done or is so represented is called principal, and the person who do such who behaves on behalf of the principal is called agent. I hope you are following the concepts very clearly, even vividly, and hope you are understanding it, because these concepts are very much come in the business terms again and again. So, students, going to the next slide, what are the essentials of agency? All contracts have some essentials, and as the contract of agency is a contract, it has also some essentials. Without those essentials, it cannot be called a contract of agency. The first is agreement. There should be written agreement between two parties or multi-parties, and all things should be in black and white on stamp paper on a prescribed manner. Whatever the established SOP of creating agency is in a specific country, and all the legal parameters should be covered in it. Competent to contract, both can have the ability to contract. Competency arises from age of both age of both the parties. They should be more than 18 years, agent and what we call the principal, and they should be of sound mind. They should not be retarded mentally, both the parties, and both have now a criminal record. Both can enter into a contract as principal has the ownership of a specific thing, or has the authority to appoint another person to be his agent. Consideration is the monetary benefit, or even sometimes non-monetary benefit, which both the parties, agent and principal, derives from creating the contract. For example, if I have a marble factory and I cannot see all the affairs of the business myself, so I will hire some marketing manager, some foreman and other workers for cutting and polishing the marble slabs, and person technically sound in handling with the spare parts and other things. So I will give them some remuneration and benefits, and they will do the job for myself. They will doing the job on my behalf. For what? To achieve the overall objective of the marble factory, that is profit, and producing quality goods and post sale services to different customers, i.e. big government organizations, institutional investors, and even the local customers who are making their own houses or any other thing. So it is a simple example of how the contract the agency is created between the principal and the agent. Hope you guys are moving with me. Now there are different kinds of agents, and all of them act on behalf of the principal. The first is journal agent. A journal agent has the authority to perform all the acts regarding a particular business, e.g. journal manager. A journal agent, as the name represents, can do all the acts on behalf of the principal for a specific business. I have a marble factory and I cannot look after its affairs, so I appoint a manager who is MBA and has some experience in the marble industry. So he is journal agent. He will look after and dispose of all the affairs on behalf of that factory, giving taxes, looking after the supply chain, purchasing blocks from different mines, paying them. The blocks come to the factory and deloading them, then cutting them, then converting slabs, polishing, in arranging different buyers for the finished products, and taking money from them in giving them the finished products, in looking after all the accounts of the all. He's the general manager. He'll look after the spares, the inventory, all the things. Special agent is created for a special job. A special agent has the authority to do a particular transaction. E.g., person appointed to purchase a particular house. He has the authority to do a particular act only. As the name suggests, that agent is created for a specific transactions. You want to sell your specific land and you appoint someone that he will sell this land on my behalf. So he's special agent. He may be any person. Universal agent, is the name suggests, universal agent is the person whose authority is unlimited. He enjoys powers to transact every kind of business on behalf of his principal. He is authorized to perform or acts delegated to him. Again, he can do all the things and have quite handsome authority like the owner himself has. Mercantile agent, as the name suggests, mercantile agent is the agent who has authority to sell or buy goods or raise money on the security of goods. He is generally appointed by manufacturer or seller to assist in sale of goods. Okay, a person who is facilitating the sales between the producer and the and customers. For that purpose, you create a mercantile agent. He has some commissions or monthly money, things like that. Commission agents is, that they sell products and other services and have some certain commission along with some principal monthly salary or amount. A commission agent buys or sells goods on his own name for his principal on the best possible terms. He receives commission for his services. He may or may not have possession of the goods. For example, the different franchises of different mobile phone companies, they are commission agents. They sell the products for the owner on their own name for best possible deal. Del Creditor agent. Del Creditor is a French word, boys and girls, and it means a Del Creditor agent is one who gives guarantee to his principal that third person with whom he enters into contract shall perform their obligation. He gives the guarantee to the principal that the third person will act as per promise, and he gives that assurance to the principal. So he is a sort of a trust, creating a medium which creates the confidence building measures between the agent, a real agent, and the principal. In between the two is another agent who give assurance to the principal that he will do whatever we order him. Next is broker. All of you are familiar with the word broker. A broker is an agent who negotiates and makes contracts for sale, purchase of goods on behalf of the principal. He does not have the possession and control of the goods. He cannot act in his own name. Broker, normally you see brokers are working in the stock exchanges and they sell our shares to new buyers, but they does not own the shares, neither they have possession of those shares. The possession and the ownership belongs to the real shareholders, and they only facilitate. If a shareholder wants to sell his shares to another person in the secondary markets, the broker facilitate their sale. Auctioneer is another term. An auctioneer is an agent who is appointed to sell goods to the highest bidder at public sale. You see that auctions are performed in different countries. In tobacco industry, in Pakistan, in some depots of multinational companies, there is concept of auction buying. that all the zamindars, the agriculturists, bring their tobacco bundles to the purchase depot, and then uh, they buy it. The different companies buy it on the bale, and the highest bidder is given the 50 kg or 100 kg bale. Is he gives the highest price for that, and it is again a very good practice in the market oriented economy that gives the a real price to the seller, a good price to the seller. On the other hand, it can provide a very good product or service to the buyer. And tender. And tender is an agent who buys or sells goods on behalf of his principal from foreign countries. He gets commission for service. And tender, it is involved in foreign trade. When some buyer brings his products from foreign countries. And the other is a banker. The banker is an agent of the customer. The banker collects checks, pays bills, etc. on behalf of his customer. Banker is again an agent of the customer. Banker collects checks, pays bills, etc. on behalf of the customers. All banks do it. Advocate. Advocate is a person from legal profession, solicitor or advocate, who normally fights on behalf of the plaintiff. An advocate does not buy or sell goods but appears before the court on behalf of his principal. He also performs other acts on behalf of his client. Advocate, solicitor represents his principal in different legal litigation in court of laws, and prove that his principal is an innocent, as we see different cases of politicians in National Accountability Bureau or different courts. So there are government advocates and there are the plaintiff advocates. Both of them come to the court of law and represent their case, and then the judge decides, keeping in view the evidence produced by both and what the law says between the parties. So this is all about the different concepts we studied till this time, and thank you for your patient listening. Your questions will be most welcomed in the live session which we will conduct tomorrow, and hope it will all the students should go through this video. It will really generate a very good discussion in the class. Take care of yourself and your elders, as it will help both of us, both of you in this time of pandemic. If you have any questions, they will be liked. Keep it in your mind that it is very important chapter. If we go again to the different contract of agency, how agency is created between the principal and the agent, what the principal normally means is the person who owns the thing. He's the master, he's the landlord, he's the owner, while agent is servant of the principal or the landlord. If you go back to agrarian times, or even Pakistan, there are agricultural lands, so the people who own the land, they are called principals or landlords, while on the other hand, people who are working on their lands, they are called tenants or agents. And sometimes some experts, some philosopher called them is slaves, serfdom. But it is very good for carrying on the day-to-day activities of our social life, our business life, because all persons cannot do all the things himself, and it is this contract of agency which enabled the landlord or the principal or the master that he can execute his plan through his agents, as the state itself is master or principal, and it carries out its plan through government. And what is government? Government is then executive, legislation, and judiciary. They are three organs of states, and these three organs of states are again servant of the states, agents of the state. Again, agent agreement essentials like any other contract. There should be an agreement between the two parties, and those agreements must be in writing. It should not be verbal. Competency should be there. If you own a thing, then you can appoint a person on behalf of that property or that business. If you doesn't have legal title to it, you can not appoint. You can only become principal when you are entitled. You have a legal entitlement for that person, as the board of directors are the highest managing body in the business, or in the corporation, in the business multinational company. But they themselves cannot appoint the lower manager. They appoint the middle and lower management and the workers and the supervisor on behalf of their masters, and their masters are the principals, the shareholders. Consideration, the board of directors are paid remuneration, and what is the consideration for the shareholder? The shareholders see that these professional managers who are experts in their respective field, they maximize the wealth of their the value of their shares, the business. So, who boys, you all have really gone through different concepts and really understand it. Then we see different journal agent, special agent, universal agent, mercantile agent, commission agent, and coming to del creditor agent, broker, and auctioneer, and tender, and banker, advocate. They are different kinds of agents. A principal can appoint his agents in any of these capacities, depending on the nature of job to be performed by the agent. As if somebody has to represent his principal in court cases, then he should be advocate. If he is to do some financial transaction, clearing of bills, accepting of checks on behalf of the principal, they can be bankers. The bankers are agents of the principal. So these are the different concepts. Of hope you have understand it. Take care of yourself and your elders. See you inshallah ta'ala in the live session. Khuda Hafiz, boys and girls.